Hello everyone, welcome to Sunya IAS. So as you know, we are taking the Anthropology Optional course, basically the foundation course for online and offline mode for the 2026-2027. And for this, we are having this free lecture series on the Unit 2. So we are going to cover the complete Unit 2. Okay, so as I told you that we are going to cover the complete Unit 2 in this particular lecture series, and we had started with the Unit 2.1. The Unit 2.1 is related to the nature of culture, and in the nature of culture we have understood various different terms related to the culture. And now in today's class we will take up the second part, basically the section B for the culture, which includes the study of the civilization. Then there are two small concepts, ethnocentrism and the cultural relativism. So in today's class we will take up that. Okay, I hope now sound is perfect. Okay, so as I told you that if you will take up this course, so we are going to provide you full-fledged notes for both papers, paper 1 and paper 2. So you will get the notes which are well researched and they are in a very structured manner. You can also get the sample of the notes from our official Anthropology Optional channel on the Telegram. So you can join that channel. There you will get all the updates related to the current affairs of anthropology. If you will scroll up, and also like we are also adding up new current affair related news related to anthropology. Another thing that this time we are launching our course in offline and online mode. Offline mode at Delhi Center and online that you can take up from anywhere. Another thing is that we will start up with this course in the upcoming month. So it is going to be started soon. And if you want to have any inquiry, anything, you will get the number in the description box, as well as you can fill up the form if you want to know anything related to the anthropology. So this is not the case that if you will take up the course from us, only then we are going to hold your hand. So you can get any kind of help, any sort of assistance if you require. So you just need to fill up the form. We will connect with you. Fine. Okay, so after that, let's start with the lecture. If you have any doubt from the previous lecture, you can ask first. If not, then let me start further. No doubt? Okay, so now let's start. As you know, this is my the first thing first that I used to show the syllabus of the UPSC so that you won't forget what exactly UPSC is asking from you, and UPSC they demands like what are the kind of basic things as they mentioned. So as you know, as per the UPSC, they had specified the syllabus in this perspective that unit 2.1, it includes the nature of culture. Then we had specified the nature of culture into various parts. Now this is basically the fourth lecture in this continuation. As I told you that because we are taking this particular topic in a very detailed manner, therefore it took us 3 lectures just to cover the nature of culture. Another thing is that I am starting from the scratch, so you can expect that we can spend that much time for this particular topic. Another thing is this, that this unit is also very lengthy comparative to the other units. So you will also feel the note, you will feel the change that in the upcoming units like the unit 2.2, 2.3, that much time is not required. Fine, because here we are creating the base. Now we will start up the section B, the civilization, and these two small concepts, ethnocentrism and cultural relativism. Fine. Another thing that I just want to mention that this lecture in terms of the civilization, quite possible you will feel, ma'am, we are facing some sort of repetition here because we are already done with the cultural evolution where we had seen all types of stages, and I hope you remember all those stages as well. So if you remember, kindly write down in the comment box that what are the basic stages of the civilization, or we can say the stages for the cultural evolution, how culture evolved. Okay, so I'm waiting for your answer. Now let's start the civilization. So civilization means what? we are thinking that there is something which is in structured manner. There are some certain rules and regulations, and this particular establishment, this particular settlement is being specified based upon some structured content, based upon some structured manner. How? Let's just take the example of the Indus Valley civilization. So Indus Valley civilization, it is being considered as a kind of a urban civilization because they have everything in a structured manner. In the same way, if you remember, in the previous class itself, I had given you the example of the cradle of civilization called as the Mesopotamia. So Mesopotamia civilization, that is being considered as providing a cradle, means it provided a base, a support for the further civilization to flourish, because they have something idle in front of them, so they can just inspire themselves to reach that place. Therefore Mesopotamia set up some sort of examples, and other civilization, they were just walking on the footprints of Mesopotamia civilization. Fine. It means civilization is something which is first structured, which is something based upon some progressive behavior. It means civilization cannot be considered as an end. Civilization is the beginning, and it will be in a continuous process. Why? Because at one point of time, like if you remember in the Mesopotamia civilization, I had shown you some of the pictures where they started with some areas which were considered as the rural or the early establishment, but later on they started progressing and they changed themselves from a rural area based upon some basic necessities. They started taking up the new level of settlements in terms of urban setup. Another thing that we can just take up the example of some cities in the Mesopotamia civilization, like the Babylon, like the Ur. These two, they are the example of those types of settlements which are urbanized, like which were urbanized and which are showing now also best example how the setup for the cities should look like. And based upon those line itself, we are setting up, like let me give you the example. If you all know, like quite possible some of these students may be from the South India or maybe from the East India. So like on a comparative picture, you must have seen the example of Chandigarh city. So Chandigarh city, it is being considered as a city which is being established by the government based upon a full-fledged plan. So they have a complete phenomena, like comparative to the Delhi is not being established or settled by the government. Therefore you must have noticed so many slum areas. You must have noticed that buildings and the street lines and the areas, they are not being managed properly. There are so many zigzag, so many many of the students, like those who have lived in Delhi in any like at any point of time, they must know this thing that there are houses and the size of the houses, it's like a माचिस का डब्बी की तरह होता है. So what is the basic fact behind that? Because it is not being settled on a planned basis. In the same way, we can just compare the setup of the Delhi city with the setup of the Chandigarh city. So I can't show here, but I would ask you to just show the basic grid pattern of the Chandigarh city. Therefore, we can understand from this perspective, like civilization is nothing but it is considered as a stage through which we are trying to have the social development. So just try to understand what are the basic parameters for the social developments. What are the basic parameters of social development? So the basic parameter for the social development, it must be providing a a settled way where the people they can set up their habitat. Means we need to provide them the facilities so that they can set up their houses. So the housing is the first prerequisite to have the social development, means they need to have the better place. After the housing, they require some basic thing, means we should have some sort of facilities from our side so that we can ensure the complete habitation. Therefore, we need to ensure the drinking water. We need to provide them electricity, gas, power. Not only the electricity, gas and power, we also need to provide to all these people the perfect way of living in terms of sanitation. I mean, they must be living at a place which is providing them the perfect dignified life. So we need to ensure the sanitation. After providing these things, then take up the seat for the basic human requirements, like quite possible, like these are the things which are required to live a life. But how you can become a better human? If you are being provided with the better facilities in terms of education and health at your doorstep. Quite possible in some of the areas we are providing all these things but not the health facilities. So like this is not the first prerequisite, because usually we are not having the hospital near to our home, but we need to have a connectivity. So for that we need to provide the road connectivity or transportation connectivity. Other than this, we should have health and education facilities. So these things, they should be developed at that place. I hope you can understand. It means if any of certain habitation is providing these types of features, that would be specified as coming under the category of the social development. And therefore, we will categorize all those civilizations who are providing the basis for the social development. And whenever we are reaching to the advanced stage for the social development, it would be specified as the civilization. So therefore, let me just specify that civilization is something which is showing us some sort of parameters where we are specifying the urban growth. Why? Because in the urban area, we try to provide all the facilities at doorstep. Like there must be many students who are not having the basic facilities of some delivery partners like the Blinkit, Zepto, that Swiggy, Instamart. Like there is one of the teacher who just earlier living in Delhi, and now they just shifted to the another place that is having some rural area. So the teacher got annoyed with the thing that he have to go every single time to the shop just to buy single items, because earlier if they are not having anything, they were just doing this they were just ordering the something from the Swiggy, Instamart, from the Zepto, or like from any delivery partner. So they are basically feeling that their life was easier. So quite possible many of you will think that ma'am, what you are saying, that delivery partner or having the delivery partner is something that is required. No, this is not the case, but try to understand. We always feel like lacking of something if we don't have. Whenever we are having something, we don't feel the importance. And this is the only thing that the civilization is necessitating. Okay. Now, civilization is something which is having some sort of features. Features in this format, that we need to ensure that in the civilization, there would be a social hierarchy. And this social hierarchy is set up by whom? It is being set up by the elite class. Elite class is creating as well as maintaining their supremacy, and this is the only thing that they are changing the civilization from the rural to the urban. Fine. So this is something that we can understood in terms of basic introduction for the civilization. Quite possible you may feel that, ma'am, this seems to be little complicated or complex, but don't worry, we will have a very simple definition as well as the meaning of civilization, so that you would be able to understand what are the basic nature as well as component of civilization. So let's move forward. So there are so many examples of the ancient civilization where we can just compare. So just like one thing you will notice here, and this is I am asking you to notice priorly, like most of the civilization, they would be set up near to the river area. Fine. So this is something that I am asking you to notice. Now I will start reading. First is the Indus Valley civilization, and this civilization, it is located in the India as well as in the Pakistan, and this civilization is something that we used to quote whenever we have to specify, whenever we have to give example regarding the civilization. Another is the Mesopotamia civilization. This is what I gave you in terms of that example. Here you can, like, here one thing is missing. Most of these civilization, they are like established near to the Indus river, and that's why it is called as the Indus Valley civilization. This is something that you know. Now Mesopotamia civilization, it is developed between the Tigris and Euphrates river. So here you can understand that it is also being established near to the river region. Next is the Egyptian civilization. This is established near to the Nile river. Then we have Chinese civilization originated along the Yellow river. Then we have Greek civilization, and then we have Roman civilization. These are the basic examples. You don't need to remember all the examples. You can just quote 2 to 3. Now, every single student will give the example of Indus Valley civilization, and every single person, they know about it. So it would be better for you if you will quote any another example. So I am giving you here a range of example. So you can just take one or two out of it. Okay. So Hari is saying, ma'am, elite class means the so-called upper class. Yes. By the word elite, we are not just specifying the upper class. We are just specifying the community which are saturated in terms of all type of resources that we can think of. So elite class for us, for anthropology, the basic definition would be the community which is saturated with the level of resources. I hope you can understand. Okay, now we'll try to explain the definition of civilization. One more thing I want to specify here. Again, for every single topic, I'm going to provide you 3 to 4 definition. Now, you don't need to remember all the definition. You just need to remember only one definition. Whenever you are studying for the anthropology for any topic, and whenever you are preparing your own notes, so you have to write definition. So I would ask you to write 2 definition, and out of those 2 definition, just mark one that you will try to remember, and this is the definition that you will try to quote whenever you will write the answer related to this topic. So don't think about it that I am giving you so much of the material. This is only for the reference, as well as it is so that you will get the variety. So it's up to you, the kind of definition which seems to be easy in terms of language, or which seems to be easy for you to remember. I would ask you to remember that only. Okay, fine. Now, another thing I want to just specify here, you will get the PDF of this PPT on the official anthropology channel on Telegram of Sunya IAS. Okay, so now let's try to understand what do we mean by the civilization. So there are so many anthropologists who had specified about the civilization. If you will ask me, ma'am, which one is the best to quote, I would specify J.L. Gillen and J.P. Gillen. You would say, ma'am, it is the smallest one, that's why you are saying no. It is, it seems to be smaller in words, but it is having a detailed meaning as well as a very deep meaning. They are saying civilization is a more complex and evolved form of culture. Is it the case? Yes. Why? I just want to show you something. This. Civilization is the complex and more evolved form of culture. Why? Because this is the case, this is the stage of the civilization where we have noticed the invention of the culture as well as the advent of the cultural activities, which includes numerous types of the rituals, which includes some sort of new things that we are experimenting. Therefore, the J.L. Gillen and J.P. Gillen, as they specified, this is true. Civilization is a more complex and it is evolved form of culture. Okay. Now, next, as per the A.W. Green. So, A.W. Green, they have specified that culture become a civilization. So, they again are quoting that there is some sort of similarities between culture and civilization. And I hope you all understood this thing, because in the previous lecture I had explained much about it. So therefore they specifying culture becomes a civilization only when it possesses some sort of feature. What are those? First, just try to answer. There were three stages that we are specifying related to evolution of culture. Started with savagery, then barbarism, then civilization. It was the barbarism when the people of that particular time period, they first noticed the benefit of having the group hunting as well as setting up a family system, and then having the feeling that they can also divide the work, and the basic structure of the families where they have rules regulation regarding the division of labor. Why I am saying rules and regulation? Because they started dividing their work. They started specifying that we are the male, we will go and hunt. At the meanwhile, you stay at our home and take care of the kids, and if not kids, then take care of the other work. Like therefore, these women, they started engaging into the farming activities, and therefore we have noticed the advent of farming and agriculture during the barbarism. It means all these things, they started at the stage of the barbarism. Here we can notice animal domestication, farming, and they also setting up a settled life. Therefore they started just accumulating the food. Therefore now these all the points, they have happened here, but we would notice some sort of advancement in all the parts in this stage. Means if there is division of labor, now there would be some sort of cultural phenomena behind that division of labor. Like in the Hindu culture, it is being specified that if the wife is preparing for the all things of puja and asking the husband to perform that puja, this thing means this type of division of labor is something that will help them to achieve their objective, that would help them to maintain the harmony. This is a basic mythological thing that is believed in the Hindu culture, and the inspiration of this particular act has been taken from the Ramayana, where the Ma Sita, she used to prepare, like she used to do all the preparations regarding the puja, and Sri Ramji, he used to perform that. Fine. It means it is specifying rules, custom, rituals, conventions. And in different types of religion, in different types of culture, we are having different type of things. If you do remember, I had given you the comparative picture of Indian culture and American culture, where in the Indian culture, women, basically the women of the house, she is serving the food to all the family members, but she won't sit with them and she won't have food along with them. She will preferably serve the food first, and after all those finished with their food, after that she will eat her food. But in the American culture, there both the partner will sit together and then they will eat together. Fine. So these are some sort of things that we used to notice. And these are something which are based upon the convention. Therefore, in India, we used to specify women as well as we used to specify food as a sacred thing. And there are so many justification. We specify that food is a sacred thing. So the person who's serving the food should not eat the food at the same time, because it will started posing some sort of negative effect on the prosperity of the house. These are some sort of justification we used to provide. I hope you can understand. Fine. It means this is the basic thing, that when we started having everything at barbarism, now we take all these things to the next level, where we add upon some sort of convention, custom, folkways, mores, means some sort of behavioral aspects in terms of culture. Therefore, in terms of the definition provided by the A.W. Green, we can specify that civilization is something which possesses some basic things like written language, like science, like philosophy, like some specialized division of labor, as well as some complex economy and the political system. So therefore, we can have a basic phenomena related to this part. Another thing that you can specify, that they noticed that ancient culture, they did not possess all these elements, because quite possible in some of the ancient culture we were not having the written languages, we were not having we were not having the belief system upon the science, but still we consider that even if not the urban, but these areas, they were having the rural habitation. But in terms of the level of civilization, some areas they have, some areas they don't. Okay, fine. Now, take up the third definition given by the French Baos, William Ogborn and Nimco. They specified that civilization may be defined as a later phase of superorganic culture. Means culture at one point of time is organic as it is being developed, but later on it will started taking up something, giving up something, and it is having a superorganic view. So this specified civilization is nothing but it is the superorganic view of the culture. Next part is specified by the Weber. So Weber has specified that civilization, it includes useful material objects as well as the methods of producing and using them. So as I told you that elite class, when you have reach to the place where you are saturated with the level of resources, this definition of the elite class is being inspired from the explanation given by the Weber. So Weber has specified that civilization is something which is being specified by two things. Let me specify you. It is being explained by the two things. What are those? Physical as well as technological. Means in the civilization, we specify physical part as well as we specify technological part. In the physical part, civilization try to civilization attempt at attaining the physical adjustment with the environment. Now, physical adjustment with the environment, this is the main point. How and in what way we are specifying that. Now we will take up some of the examples here. Okay, so the first example for this is, they are saying that civilization is something which is some sort of your adjustment with whom? With the environment. Now, tell me why we invented the terrace cultivation. Why? What was the significance of that terrace cultivation? What were the requirement? So we invented this type of cultivation because in the hilly region, we are not having the plain suitable area where we can cultivate. Other thing is this, that if we are not cultivating over the land of that hilly area soil is prone to be eroded, and therefore it may cause some sort of casualties. So just to take up in the form of a solution, we started up having the terrace cultivation. So one of the example for this could be terrace cultivation. Now, why we invented with the terrace cultivation? So that the people who are living in the hilly region, they can ensure their survival. Because if there is no survival point, if there is no point where they can just think of for their survival, what they are going to do, they will shift from that place. So this is one of the example for physical adjustment with the environment. Now, second, there is one community called as the Eskimo. So Eskimos, they are the people who are living in a snowy region, in a cold region. So Eskimos, they are living in the igloo, and they are wearing the clothes that are made from the animal skin, so that they can just ensure their survival. So again, they set up their civilization. So their civilization is based upon what? It is based upon their housing, it is based upon their food, it is based upon their clothing pattern. So just to have that excess protein, so that they can just ensure the warmness in their body, they are eating the animal meat, as well as they are also wearing the clothes that are made up from the animal skin. So it is what? It is nothing but it is the physical adjustment with the environment, and just to ensure your survival, you are adjusting with the environment, and your adjustment is setting up a new setup for the civilization, for the establishment or settlement. Okay. So the second example is Eskimos living pattern. Okay. Another example is the people who are living in the hot region. Fine. Now, what is this physical adjustment? So, there, like I am going to give you the basic example. One of the Eskimos, second of the Nilotes. So, Eskimos, they are living in a cold region, and Nilotes, in Africa. So Nilotes in Africa is a type of community. Okay. So Nilotes in Africa, if you will notice them, so all these people, they are having a very tall height. Not only tall height, their legs and their arms, they are comparatively or relatively longer than all other person. What's the reason behind that? They don't want to keep their body warm, and therefore they just want to exhale that warmness, that kind of warmness they have in their body. And because of that, in terms of physical adjustment, their limbs, they are going to be longer in size, so that they can lose as much heat as they can. Fine. So now here I am just telling you in a very short form. We will be doing this Nilotes and that Eskimos and their like a body pattern in the unit 9.7 of the paper 1. So we are not going to leave anything behind. Here I am just giving you reference. Like you need to understand more explanation regarding those limbs and why they are long, why they are short, why they are chubby. So for that we will have a complete discussion in the unit 9.7. Okay. Exactly. Arctic and Antarctic region. Okay, fine. Now, this is nothing but it is the physical adjustment. Now, we'll take up the technological adjustment. So, technological adjustment is nothing but it is being considered as the way where you are setting up those areas, and in those areas you are setting up industries that are similar to the survival nature, like setting up the tools there, like setting up the weapons there. So technique is again a part of the civilization. For example, you must have heard like in the last year monsoon, there was a flood like situation in the Pakistan. So Mohenjo-daro, that place of Indus Valley civilization, it is lying there only. So the drainage system of the Mohenjo-daro is working now as well. After so many years, when there was a flood like situation, so the drainage system of the Mohenjo-daro, it was working well. It means it is basically showing the thing that if somewhere we are having, like if somewhere we are having the best technique to set up the civilization, it will help us to understand the technological part. I hope you can understand. So you just need to write down these three examples, and I'm also going to provide this PPT so you can skip that as well. Okay, fine. Now we have understood about the civilization basic meaning. We have done with the definition as well. There are 4 definitions, but you just need to remember only, like you just need to write 2 in your notebook and just to remember 1. Okay, now here we will try to understand what are the basic approaches so that we can understand the concept of civilization. Fine. So the first, like we are going to have 4 basic approaches. Approaches are going to be very simple, but what is complicated is just to remember the contribution of the anthropologist. So we will try to understand here the contribution of some of the anthropologists, and with the help of that we will explain it. So here I had given you the example of L.H. Morgan, and he had written one book, that is the Ancient Society, in 1877. Okay, so in his book he specified the stages of the civilization. So his main objective or main thing that he was talking is just to have the structure where we can understand how in the human society civilization it flourished, and how civilization at the end causes the like advent of the culture. This is what we want to understand. For that, he basically specified in his book there are 3 stages. As I told you in the unit 6, I am going to specify you 7 stages. 7 stages of establishment of the civilization or the cultural evolution or formation of culture. Now, what are those 4 extra steps than these 3 steps? Now, let me specify here. For that, in the ancient society, in the unit 6, we will do the 7 stages. You may ask, ma'am, how we will remember where to mention 3 and where to mention 7. So, let me specify. 3 are the most important one. Those 4, they are just extra. Fine. Now, let me give you the idea. So, in a literal form, L.H. Morgan was saying that for savagery there are 3 stages. That is nothing but the lower savagery, the middle savagery, and the upper savagery. For the barbarism again there are 3 stages, that is lower barbarism, middle barbarism, and upper barbarism. Therefore, 3 plus 3, 6 plus 1, 7. 7 stages as given by D.L.H. Morgan. Fine. Okay. Now, let's take up these stages one by one. We have done with the decent explanation for this part, but still we will try to explain. Fine. Okay. Now, savagery stage is also being considered as a derogatory remark. Why? Because here try to understand. Tribal people, they are being given different categories. Fine. In the paper 2, we are having a full-fledged part dedicated to the tribal India. Like in terms of the total syllabus, 19% of the total syllabus, starting from the unit 6 of the paper 2, ending with the unit 9 of the paper 2. So 6 to 9 is dedicated to the tribal India. Now, just to specify the tribal India, we have some certain categories. So for that, one is having the PVTGs, particularly vulnerable tribal group. So we have specified 75 tribes under the PVTGs. Okay, now how you will categorize who are going to be the PVTGs, means how you will categorize who are going to be vulnerable people. Okay, now there is hot sunlight, sun heat, heat waves everywhere. Okay, now let's assume there is one person who's walking barefoot on the road, a road that is of black color, made up of charcoal, is absorbing as much heat as it can, and walking barefoot is going to be very hurtful. Now let us suppose you have noticed any person walking like this. Would you consider that person vulnerable? Yes or no? For sure, yes. And how you will conclude? Quite possible you may say that that person may be not able to afford. This is the only thing that you will think upon. It means what? It means we used to consider another person as vulnerable whenever we are feeling that we are in a privileged situation or condition than them. Means, let us suppose you are able to eat, you are able to sleep, you are able to have all the luxury as you want, and there is another person in front of you who's not having those privileges. So you will consider that person vulnerable, and this is the only case. We consider tribal people as vulnerable because those people, they are having backward technology. They are having declining population. They are having the technology of the pre-agricultural level. So these kinds of things, they are just compelling us to categorize those tribal people as vulnerable. And we consider these tribal people, they are not educated. We consider the tribal people, they are not civilized. They don't know how to behave in the public. They, like, usually there are so many movies in the Bollywood where in the early time they used to show that the people from the rural area, they visit the urban area, and in the rural area they are not able to like in the rural area they are living their life, but in the urban area they are not able to do the things as per the etiquettes of the urban area. They are eating with the hand, they are sitting anywhere on the road. So these things, they are being specified as some sort of etiquettes which usually the people living in the urban area, they know in a better way comparative to the rural area. Kindly don't feel bad that I am comparing here the rural and the urban people, but this is the only thing I want you to understand, that every single time whenever we consider we are in a privileged situation, we consider the person in front of us as vulnerable. In the same way, the people who feel that we are wearing the suit and pant, who consider that they know English language, who consider that they are educated, they consider themselves civilized. And that was the only thing that anthropologists, They all were educated, they all were wearing the complete suit boot, and that's why they consider those people who were not having those resources as savage. Therefore savage is being considered as a derogatory remark, and they consider those people as someone who are equivalent to the animal. Means these savage people, they know only one thing, that they just need to fill up their stomach. How? Quite possible gathering or hunting, like they are having this animal type of living system. Therefore here in the savagery we are specifying that the people, they were lived by hunting and gathering, and because they are dependent upon the gathering of the food, so if at one place all food is being consumed by them, they will just change that place. Okay, and there is no social group, and they are not having any other survival need than two. One is food, another is the sexual pleasure. Okay, next we entered into the barbarism stage. So this stage is being necessitated with the farming as well as animal domestication. They were having better control over the food sources because they are engaged in the farming, therefore they can produce their food, and they can even accumulate, they can even collect the food surplus. Okay, then after the barbarism we changed or we transitioned into the another state, that is the civilization. So civilization means you are civilized because you are having some certain etiquettes, you are having some sort of custom and conventions. What are those? Your writing system is being developed and you are using it, as well as you are having the metallurgy, means you are using the metal, you are having the knowledge of the metal, how to use them, and what could be the possible manufacturing industry setup, as well as you are having skilled work and development of craft. There is growth of trade and urban center. You are having a clear social class and division of labor. You are having an improved living standard. So these are some of the things related to the civilization. I hope you can understand. Fine. So this is something that is having related to the civilization. Fine. Okay. You are not having any doubt? Fine. Okay. Moving forward, this thing is being specified by the socio-linguist perspective as given by the L.H. Morgan. And there he specified that human society, they are nothing but they are these types of establishment. Okay. Now, next approach just to understand about the civilization is being provided by the McLever. So McLever, he had specified some of his theories related to the power, related to the society, and related to the mechanism. So where he specified that civilization is nothing but civilization is considered as a complex unit where all resources are available. It means civilization is nothing but it is the place where all resources, they are available in abundance. And because you can possess these types of resources, therefore you consider yourself as civilized one. So here people are living their life, and not only they are living their life, but they are managing. They are managing their life. Means they are not living like animals, they are having some certain life goal. Now just tell me, why you are studying like कि मतलब आप आंखों में तेल डाल डाल कर पढ़ रहे हो? Why? What's the like? What is the use of it? इसका use क्या है? Because you have one goal, and because you just want to achieve that goal, therefore you are having a disciplined life. You are not being controlled by your senses, but instead you are controlling your senses. In the same way, they specified that civilization, it is the epitome of the culture, and in this stage these people, they are managing and they are improving their life. They are continuously improving their life. They are having some life goal. Therefore, they can compare with each other. They have the phenomena that they need to collect as much resources as they can. Next part is, it refers to the practical and mechanical side, means civilization is dependent upon the utilitarian perspective, which is specifying that the thing which is giving you more and more utility, you will engage more and more. Because you know, like let us suppose you are having 6 to 7 career options in front of you. Still you are spending your young time while sitting in a room preparing for this exam which is uncertain. So just tell me, what is the kind of motivation you have? The motivation, it could be power, it could be pride, it could be money, it could be giving the social services, anything could be there. But because you feel that only this UPSC and IAS can fulfill your utility requirement, because of that you are engaged into it. In the same way, civilization is providing us some sort of utility. Now this utility is in the format of you are giving this utility, basically civilization. How civilization is telling you how to use the resources in an efficient manner. Civilization is helping you to set up more rules and regulation so that we can have a proper family system, rules related to the division of labor, rules related to the living of life. So such kind of thing, they are being specified by the civilization only. Okay, so civilization is giving some utility, only because of this only we are just having it in our behavior, or we are practicing it. Okay, fine. Next is the historical perspective. So the basic historical perspective, as it is specifying, it is nothing but it is something which is giving us more priority as well as ease of doing the setup. Like historical perspective is specifying that we will have the physical and technological establishment, the technological settlement near to the area which is going to provide us more ease. So what is that area which is providing more ease? So you will notice most of the civilization, like let me give you the example, like Egyptian civilization, they developed around the Nile river. So this is the example of the Nile river. Here you can understand that Egyptian civilization, it is being set up near to this river area only. Why? Because let us suppose they are dependent upon hunting and gathering. So near to that river area, they don't need to go to any other areas just to search for the animals for the hunting. They know that this is the area where the water is in abundance. So all the animals, they will approach to that river area and they will be still for 4 to 5 minutes till the time they will drink the water. So they can hunt the animals during that time period. It would be easier for them. So therefore, they got more opportunities in terms of hunting near to that river region. Okay, so this is also being considered as a kind of active point for them. Okay, fine. Next, fourth and the last one, anthropological perspective. So this view, it focuses on what? The anthropological perspective is going to provide us a coverage. The coverage which will compare the culture with civilization. So this view is going to focus upon this only. So in the civilization, we will basically including tangible things. I mean, civilization means establishment, means settlement. Settlement will include what? Housing, drinking water, all those things which are related to the social development. Remember all these attributes. Remember all these attributes? So all these attributes, they are found in a physical format. Means you can touch the drinking water. You can just see the sanitation. Sanitation means all the all type of garbage is not there. So you can see the sanitation as well as you can feel the sanitation. Okay. Okay. Okay, so but culture means what? Culture is something which is based upon your it is something which is related to your soul. So it is specified as your belief system in terms of values, belief system, traditions. So it is something which is based upon this. Fine. Now archaeologists, they see civilization as nothing but having a material life, having a system which is specified as in terms of materialistic life. Okay, fine. Now just to specify this anthropological perspective, we have some definition given by first A.W. Green and second is the modern American anthropologist. So A.W. Green, in terms of definition, he specified that civilization is nothing. It is a kind of phenomena which include language, use of matter, science and technology, philosophy and a complex economy. In terms of modern American anthropologists, civilization, it specifies as how the humans, they adapt to their environment. It also includes some sort of key features which specified as centralized government and system for what? For sharing some sort of resources, because civilization is setting up hierarchy. If you remember, if there is a hierarchy, then that hierarchy will try to hold the power. What kind of power? Administrative, political, economic power they already have. Because of this only they are having this upper class status. So now this upper class status, it will change into the elite one when they will started taking up the administrative and the political power in their hand. So civilization will ensure a proper management. Now this proper management is nothing but it is a part of the process where you will try to hold the power. And when you will try to hold the power, it will result in an organized system where there is going to be some political power recognized as government. So therefore civilization is something which will have organized government. Now this organized government, because they want to hold the power, therefore they will have centralization, means all the power at one place. They are not going to delegate it, they are not going to distribute it. All the power would be at one place only. Okay, so this is something that we have related to the civilization. So let me just specify again. Civilization, it is nothing but it is an advanced stage of the human settlement as well as the setting up of the cultural system. For that we have seen four definition. After that we had seen some components of the civilization in terms of physical and technological. Then we are done with the basic approaches with the help of which we can understand the nature of civilization. So there were four basic approaches. So we are done with these approaches as well. So we started with some of the basic social linguistic approach, then we come up with the utilitarian approach, then the historical approach, and at last we are done with the anthropological approach. So these approach, they helped us just to understand about the pattern of the civilization. Okay, fine. Now after this, we'll try to understand, because somewhere you may be confused. Somewhere we are saying that culture is part of the civilization. Somewhere we are saying that civilization, it provide some sort of advanced basis for the culture to flourish. Somewhere we are saying that civilization is the advanced stage of culture. I mean, civilization is part of culture or culture is part of civilization. So for that we will try to have a comparative picture. Now let me just give you the basic view. UPSC is asking 10 mark का question, and for that they are just giving a small and single part, culture and civilization, only this. They are not specifying that what they want to, what really they want to ask. If there is any question where the directive word is A and B, so for that what you have to do, just give the basic introduction, then specify the relation between this A and B. Just to be very precise, relationship between the culture and civilization, and then after the relation mention some sort of differences. So because you want to show how these two are relative to each other, because of that only we are studying them together. Okay, so just like don't worry about it. Next class we are going to have the next class just to have a proper PYQ discussion related to the unit 2.1. So we will have a proper PYQ discussion related to the unit 2.1 in the next class, where we will try to understand how we need to approach the answer and what should be the ideal approach, how we can write the answer. Okay, so stay tuned for the next lecture. I will give you the details that when we are going to have the next lecture through the Sunya IAS Anthropology Optional Telegram channel. Timing is going to be the same, but I will let you know is it going to be on Thursday or on the upcoming Friday. Fine. So this is how we will have this. Okay. Now, the relationship between the culture and civilization is specifying that both culture and civilization, they are considered as two different stream of a single pole. So one side we have civilization, another side we have culture. Okay. Now, culture needs a civilization for future growth, and civilization, it requires culture so that we can have a longevity for the civilization or for this established settlement. Now, culture and civilization, they both are interactive. Interactive means they both are interdependent upon each other. They, like culture and civilization, they will go hand in hand. Civilization, they acquire the cultural significance, and because they are acquiring the cultural significance, because of this fact only we are noticing the changes among different civilization. Remember, I had given you the example on the second slide itself. There are different type of civilization. Why they are different? Because their culture is different, and their culture, because people are following, is providing them continuity. Next part is civilization, it is affected by the culture. Culture and civilization, they both are interdependent. So these are some sort of relationship between culture and civilization. Because I had explained much about this thing, therefore here I won't spend too much time. Now we will taking up to the next part, that is the differences. I hope you can see on the screen differences between the culture and civilization, how we used to differentiate these. Okay, so in terms of standard of measurement, if we want to compare different types of civilization, because civilization is based upon some, like what is the basic feature, the basic feature was the tangible nature. So civilization, for the civilization you can have the differences in terms of the tangible items. So one is based upon some basic requirements, or it is being very advanced, they are having all resources. To what extent the physical as well as the technological advancement is there. So this is something based upon that differences. Now, civilization is measured based upon the utility. If something providing you the utility, you can have that. If not, that particular thing would come out of that phenomena of the civilization. Okay, now let me give you the basic example. Remember that at one point of time we were having the landline phone. Forget about the landline phone. Remember at one point of time we were having the TV system based upon the antenna. So I don't know how many of you have heard about it from your parents or not. So earlier, in the earlier time, we were having the antenna based TV. So in that antenna based TV, we were having the antenna at the terrace. So every single time you want to change the channel or something, so you have to just go upstairs and you have to just change the direction of the antenna. So with the help of that, you will get the connection and you will have the you will have your entertainment. You will see the TV. Let us suppose if at any point of time there is not clear weather, there is rainy or something. So during that time period, you can't use the TV because during the rainy season, the antenna won't catch the signals. Fine. So that was one of the technology. Now later on, we started having new different type of technology. Now we are having the smart TV. Smart TV is just connected with your Wi-Fi and you can use anything. You can use any Amazon Prime Video, Netflix, G5, Hotstar, anything, or the live TV. You can have anything. Now just tell me, if I would ask you to change your TV system from that Wi-Fi based smart TV to that antenna based TV, would you like to do that? Not at all. Not a single person. Even now, means these types of comfort level we have compared to that time period when we were not even having the remote to operate a TV. So now if I would ask you to change your TV from now the Alexa system to that system which is not even remote operated, would you like to do that? Not at all. So here try to understand every single thing which will have the utility that will flourish in the civilization. So now because we want, like, we all people have less time. Less time means because life is just running. Time is 24 hours, but life is just running. So based upon this, the thing that we are saying that life is running, we are having those types of civilized establishment like bullet train. So bullet train is preferable than the normal train. Why? Because it is providing us best services in less time. Therefore, civilization, the standard measurement for the civilization is nothing but it is the utility. Like, let me give you the another example. Now, Japan is being specified as the most advanced civilization. Reason? Because they have certain facilities that we want. Japan, they are having advanced level of bullet train, that the level of 5 or 6 there. But now in a preparatory basis, Japan is going to hand over the bullet train level 3 to India. So here we can just compare that more advanced civilization would be measured on the parameters of technology. Okay, so Japan bullet train. Okay, now here in terms of culture, for the culture we are not having any standard, any fixed standard. I mean, I cannot compare that Japanese culture is more flourished than the Indian culture, or Japanese people they are having more faith in their culture. Indian people they don't. I can't say. Why? Because I'm not having a certain parameter. Let us suppose this year you are celebrating Diwali with so much of the happiness and money and prosperity. But let us suppose next year your health is not good and that therefore you are not able to just take part in all those cultural processions. So we are not going to specify it that you are not cultural. It means cultural aspect, they cannot be compared on that perspective. Fine. Next, nature. Culture is not necessarily progressive. Culture is something which is traditional. As much as you are going to be attached with your traditional roots, that much culture is going to flourish. It means we won't say that culture is advancing. No, culture is being traditional. Culture is being attached with your roots. It doesn't matter how much modernized you are going to be, but if you are cultural, then you have to be attached with your traditional roots. Means eating the food in a traditional way, eating the traditional food, having the traditional clothes. So this is how it is being specified as being cultural. Now, in terms of the civilization, civilization is specified as advancing. Advancing in the sense means it is being specified as that if you are a civilized person, it means you are a person having the possession of the technology and you are advancing with the like with every single time. You are continuously in a progressive stage. Therefore, civilization is being specified as a continuous process. Okay. Next, scope. So, civilization is being specified as something which is based upon some materialistic possession. I don't think I need to repeat it again. Whereas, culture is something which is internal, which is something you are professing. And you are professing, you are practicing. That could be something that is in the private or it is something internal. I mean, you cannot ask me in terms of percentage how much belief I have in my culture or in my religion or my cultural activities. You can't ask like that. Fine. So that's how we used to specify it. Okay. Now, transmission and adoption. So, changing your culture is something which is difficult. Why? Like, for example, you would say, ma'am, no, this is not. Like, B.R. Ambedkar ji, he also in later year of his life, he also changed from the Hinduism to the Buddhism, and that too because he was very much engraved with the kind of discrimination he had noticed for the complete life. So this is something that we can say that yes, conversion could be there. There are so many Christian missionaries which are leading to the conversion. But here you need to understand, you cannot just cut off your roots. So therefore changing the culture is something which could happen but is not so much common. Whereas comparative to the civilization they started transmitting their things very easily. For example, we are having diplomatic ties with the Japan. Therefore, Japan is going to hand over bullet train to us and is assisting us for setting up the bullet train. So, this is one of the example. Another example could be that we are planning to have our own Indian space station. So, for that, we are planning to set up our Gaganyaan. So, for that Gaganyaan, Russia is training our Vyomamitra, basically the astronauts, just so that they could live in the outer region, basically in the space. So these are nothing but they are the example of the civilization where civilization can transmit their good things to the another, and they can transmit it at a very fast pace. Depends upon the diplomatic ties. Another thing is change in the form. So changes during the transmission through the diffusion and acculturation. So you have understood these terms well. Basically, what do we mean by transmission, diffusion, acculturation? So here changes could be there. Means we can adopt the culture. Culture can be adopted over a period of time. But here you need to understand this thing. Civilization is something which is always changing. Civilization is something which is on a continuous changed way. Means you will start adopting the things, you will start changing from one form to the another. Fine. So this is something that we have related to this part. I hope you can understand. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can ask for, otherwise we will start further, because we are end up with this part, the civilization. I hope you are able to understand. It was very simple, but like 10 marker question could be asked from the culture and civilization. More than this, this part is not having as much importance while considering the marks. Like only 10 marker question could be asked, but every single year they are not asking. So it depends that they may ask or not. Okay, fine. So now let's start further with the next part, part C, that is ethnocentrism. Okay, so now let's start. Part C, ethnocentrism. First here, try to understand the two terms. Ethnocentrism. Okay, so there is this word ethno. Ethno word is being inspired from the word ethnic. Then we have another word, centrism. Centrism means centered or conserved. Now, ethnic means what? It means culture. Now, in a simple term, if I have to specify, ethnocentrism means what? You are conserved in your own culture. Means you are having some sort of intense faith in your own culture, that you are not in a condition that you will accept any sort of cultural activity of any another culture in front of you. Means you are engraved so much in your own culture that you won't even accept any another person doing any another cultural activities in front of you. Forget about that, you will ask, like you will ask any person, or you will be a part of them. Like for example, if you are celebrating Holi, so you won't accept that another person from another religion will take part in your Holi celebration. No, not at all. They don't even would like to celebrate, like first thing with you. Second, they won't like you to celebrate it in front of them. So this is the kind of thing that we have. Now, one thing you need to be very much be clear as well as very much cautious. You cannot give the example of any certain religion here, because it may considered wrong. Let us suppose you are giving the example of Jain and Islam, because there are so many things that that are surfacing over the internet, that during the Bakra Eid, the Jain, they started buying the bakras from the market, so that another person from the that particular religion, they can't buy them and kill them. So this was being considered as what? A part of the ethnocentrism, but you cannot quote this example. Why? Let us suppose that the person belonging to to the religion who are celebrating Bakra Eid, so they are reading your answer, or quite possible any of the professor who are from the Jain. So it won't seems right. Therefore, you need to have the constructive language. So avoid using such type of example. So we are just going to compare the culture of the America. Like there are so many videos related to it, and in the previous class itself I had given you the example that if you will ask any American person to eat the pork, to eat the beef, to eat the chicken, to eat the mutton, they will eat everything. But if you will ask them for the dog meat, they would say eating the dog meat is barbaric. And even if you will sit with them and you will eat the dog meat, they won't even allow you to eat in front of them. This is called as what? Ethnocentrism. Fine. Another thing, let me give you another example. Like in India, battery change. And wait for one. Okay, so like we were basically taking the example of their culture. Now we are having so many other different examples related to this. Like you must have encountered the cases of the mob lynching. Means like we consider that like in the Hindu culture, cow is being considered as a sacred animal, and the person who is eating the beef, so according to them, it is something which is barbaric. So if any person who's not eating the beef, they won't even allow another person of another religion to eat beef in front of them. Why? Because this is something that is against their cultural principle. So all these things, they are come out as a part of the ethnocentrism. So ethnocentrism means celebrating your own way of culture. Okay, so let me give you the overview. So it is based upon a belief that one's own value, one's own tradition, as well as customs, they are the better, they are the best, and they won't accept any another culture, activities, tradition in front of them, and they will have the sense of animosity with them. Okay, so they are going to prefer their own ways, their own activities than any another culture. So it is being considered as an attitude to evaluate other culture on the basis of one's own standard. Now, for example, in the North America, eating the dog meat is considered as barbaric, whereas in the Hindu culture, eating the beef is immoral, whereas in Islam, pig is being considered as taboo. So therefore, people think that their own culture is correct, and they will try to give you justification based upon their own practices. Therefore, having the firm faith in your own culture and rejecting the phenomena of another culture is nothing but called as ethnocentrism. When you will flaunt your own and you won't even accept the other, this is being like you are not tolerant. So you are not having the tolerant behavior. So this is what being specified as the ethnocentrism. I hope you are able to understand. So you can even give so many other example to related to it. Even I can give you ample number of examples. Like for example, in the American culture, the phenomena of the arranged marriage is called as child betrothal. Means they are amazed with the fact that how this could be the case, that the male and female, they are going to be tied in the knot where they, like both of them, they are not acquainted with each other, how they can live their complete life. Like now there are so many things, like now the arranged marriage in India is equivalent to the love marriage. Why? Because the boy is coming along with the parents to see you, and then both the families, they are agreed to it. Then the boy and the girl, they are talking over the phone call regarding their preferences, like dislike before the marriage. It means they started knowing each other, they started knowing that they are having some compatibility or not. So now this is the case. But like let me give you the basic overview. In the Haryana, in some of the areas, still these are the cases where the families, they are deciding that their child, the male is going to marry whom, and the bride and the groom, they don't even know each other, they don't even they have talked with each other, they are just talking, or they are just having the like face off only after the marriage. So for the American culture, this is something which is very like hurtful, because how you could think upon spending your whole life with a person whom you don't know, with whom you don't know that you would be having the compatibility or not. Fine. So this is one of the example of ethnocentrism. Now, second example. Even I had noticed, like I had explained it in the earlier class as well, that in India, the primest responsibility of child rearing lies upon the shoulder of mother. And if the mother is leaving behind her child just to go to the job and just to focus upon her career, this is being considered as heinous. Not completely heinous, it is being considered as a crime in the eyes of the other. So this is something called as what? Ethnocentrism, because culture is saying that mother should take care of the child and mother should sacrifice. So the sacrifice is a word which is being made up for the mother. Like our mother, she used to do so many sacrifices on daily basis for us. So that's why here try to understand ethnocentrism in this phenomena where you are considering your own way is the supreme one and you are rejecting the other ways. Okay, so this is the simplest thing. Now, so the word ethno, Greek word से आया है, which is referring to the culture, nation, people, and centric word, it is coming from the Latin word and it refers to the center. So therefore ethnocentrism means your tendency where you consider your culture as the center of all things. Okay, so this is something that is being specified. Now the mention of the ethnocentrism, this word is being like being specified by the William Graham Sumner in his book Folkways. So his book Folkways, it was including some sort of etiquettes based guidelines. Like for example, during the COVID-19, we know this thing that it was circulating over the internet. Like whenever you are sneezing, you need to cover your face. And if you are sneezing, you should not cover your face like this. Why? Because after that you are going to touch other premises with your hand only. So whenever you are sneezing, you need to sneeze like this. So the kind of guideline of the behavior, like let us suppose you are traveling in the metro, you are traveling in the train or bus, and you feel like sneezing and you sneezed on another person's face. So just tell me, that person is going to slap? Yes or no? So try to understand here, we are having some basic etiquettes. These basic etiquettes, they are telling us that how the life should be, how you need to behave in this society. So whenever we are having such type of guidelines of behavior, these are called as what? Mores. These are called as what? Mores. So in his book Folkways, the William Sumner, he specified these mores, this etiquette based behavior. And he was saying that all those people who were doing the same, they are being specified as in group. Means you are doing the same thing as I am doing. You are having similar nature with me and I would consider you as a part of my group. Because you are part of my group, I will have some sense of belongingness with you. Another thing is outgroup. Outgroup means what? It means that you are not having the same behavior as I am doing. It means you are having some sort of differences. Because you are having differences, I would reject what you are doing and therefore I will feel sense of animosity with you. So therefore William Sumner, he said that like here it must be controversial If I would give the example of any religious scripture, but like I would avoid like explaining that, because it would take like the people of that culture, they would take it in the wrong way. Fine. Like for example, try to understand here that Buddhism, in the Buddhism itself, like we can take the example of Buddhism. So forget about the recent example. So in the Buddhism, we are having the two stream. One is the Hinayan, another one is the Mahayana. So the Mahayana, the followers of the Mahayana, they are engaged into the idol worship. But the people who are following the Hinayan, they are saying that idol worship should be prohibited. Means Hinayan and Mahayana having some differences. So they started feeling all those persons who are being engaged into the idol worship, they would be of out group, and all those persons who are not engaged, they would be in group. So they would specify, just for an example, they would specify that all the people who are engaged into the idol worship, they are out group. It means they are not related to their group of Hinayan. They will specify them as Mahayana. But all those who are engaged into the idol worship, we will feel a sense of belongingness with them, and they would be considered as a part of the in-group. So this is something that we have related to this part. Now let's try to explain the definition of the in-group and the out-group in a detailed manner. So in-group, all those persons who are doing the same thing as you are. For example, your family is your first in group because they are having complete similarities. Even your thought process, your way of thinking, your pattern of thinking, your level of thinking, it all depends upon your family, your surroundings. So therefore, the family, the college, the tribe to which a person belongs, this would be considered as part of in group. So in group, they will have similar attitude, they will have similar reactions, they will have similar things. And one more thing, you will have some sort of respect for each other. Why? Because you have a sense of belongingness. But in case of the out group, the members which don't belong to their group, they are considered as what? Out group. It means you will have some sort of animosity. While referring to the in group, you are using the word we because it's a part of your group. But like explaining about the out group, you are specifying as they. You are referring them as third person. You are referring them as someone who is not belonging to your group. Fine. So this is what being specified as related to the out group. I hope you are able to understand. Now, ethnocentrism, is it a recent phenomena or it is being being practiced in the earlier time period? So I'm going to quote here the example of the 18th century. You all have noticed that the Britishers, they were the first one who just shown some sort of ethnocentrism. I mean, not first one. There were earlier rulers as well. Like during the Mughal time period, they were not acceptable to the temple worship. Even they destructed so many temples. So that was the case. But here, try to understand, Britishers, they were the first one who did this openly. The Britishers, they used to say that the people of India, they are dirty, they consider these people, they are untouchable. So these are the kind of things, and that's how they promoted the sense of ethnocentrism. Another example, if we have to specify, is being given by the anthropologists, like the first one. Herbert Spencer, they had given the concept of the survival of fittest, where they said that something which is superior, they will survive. Why? Because they have more chances for the survival. For this, they had given the example of the giraffe. They were saying the giraffe who were having the long or tall height, they were able to like grab the food, and because they have the kind of more and more intensity to grab the food, therefore they were having more chances of the survival. In the same thing, they have specified that survival of the fittest, this phenomena has been developed of the idea which is being developed by the Herbert Spencer. They said that who will be superior, it means you are comparing, and because you are comparing, therefore you are specifying. Okay. So Hari is saying that ma'am, is the Jain monk wear the face mask for hygiene purpose in the past? Is the statement true? Not for the hygiene purpose exactly, but they used to just like have this because they just want to control the senses. Like, quite possible I may be wrong, but the kind of the philosophy of the Jain is based upon the phenomena that they want to use as much less resources as they can from this earth. So they were saying that we have taken the birth, and because we have taken the birth in the form of a human being, therefore we can not just have the supremacy over other animals, over other resources, be it the plant or the basic animals, and we are not having any right to disturb their cycle. Therefore, they are not for the hygiene purpose, but because they want to control over the senses. Means they were saying that you are having mouth, so it's not the case that you will speak unnecessarily. So for that, you need to cover up. So this is something that they have. It is just symbolic. I mean, it's not having any other purpose, but it is symbolic. Fine. Okay. Now try to understand here. It means that if you will be superior, you will have more chances to live. Another part is specified by the E.B. Taylor in his book Primitive Culture, in which he said that civilization is a scale and it is being specified as civilized. Why? Because you consider only you have the way to live. Means because, like as I had given you the example, we consider ourselves as civilized because we feel the tribal people, they are not having the right way to live, they are not having technology. Means we are comparing based upon resources. Therefore, you must have heard some terms like we used to specify the village people, they don't know anything. We used to consider villager as a derogatory remark. Why? Because we feel they don't know the etiquettes of the social behavior. So this is again ethnocentrism, because you feel because you are having resources, only you know the things. Because you are educated, only you think that you know the way how to talk. Fine. So this is what that we specify related to this part. Okay. Now we have to specify the nature of the ethnocentrism. So ethnocentrism is something which is specifying that you are intolerant and you are hatred for other culture. Means you are not going to accept related to the different culture. Like we cannot quote these example, but we can just like we cannot write these example, but we can quote just to understand. We don't know the basic authenticity behind the Pahalgam terror attack, but yes, there was some basic involvement of particular religion. Fine. So, and why this sense is getting more and more recognition? Because there was a sense of intolerance and hatred among these communities. One community is intolerant with respect to the another communities, and as a result we are facing some sort of terror attack. Another example let me give you, last year in the Rajasthan, there was a tailor barbaric murder. So that tailor, he just posted one post on his WhatsApp status referring to his religion. Another person or in his contact, he saw that particular post and he went to the place where he killed the tailor. He killed the tailor by cutting his neck, and after this he posted one video that I did this, and he also posted the reason. He said that because I am not tolerant with that particular religion, and this is something that happened. So such kind of thing, they are the active example of ethnocentrism. Okay. Okay, so Hari is asking ki ma'am, primitive means limited. No, primitive means something which is specifying the previous traditional or earlier time period. Fine, so it doesn't mean limited. It means you are referring to the previous time period when we were not having adequate technology. Okay, now if you are having the ethnocentrism, if you are not tolerant, then you will not try to understand the customs of other culture. You won't feel happy with the other person. You won't promote the nationalism. Okay. Next part is, it will promote the blind trust in your own culture, and every single time you will question the another culture. So it will ultimately result in the human right violation. Human right violation means what? It means that you are not tolerant, so you will because you are not tolerant, therefore you won't accept anything from the another culture. Fine. So these are something that is being specified. I hope you are able to understand. Fine. So moving forward to the next part, we will have the roots of ethnocentrism. So ethnocentrism is something which is negative, yes, for sure. But is it always negative? This is something that need to be questioned or checked. So basically, ethnocentrism is of three types. So Sumner, he specified Sumner, he had specified that ethnocentrism in the modern nation is really the sentiment of the patriotism in all its philosophical fullness, that is, in its rationality and its extravagance and exaggeration. So here you just need to understand that ethnocentrism in the modern nation, it is the sentiment of patriotism. Means ethnocentrism every single time is not which is negative. But when you started feeling the rejection for the other nation, here when the negative things they started surfacing. Like, let me give you the example. USA from the very beginning having the relation of animosity with the Russia, basically the USSR. They were having a complete Cold War, and now also Russia is having the war with the Ukraine, but we all know who is supporting the Ukraine and how the Ukraine is able to survive till now. So therefore, you just need to understand that yes, ethnocentrism is inculcating some sort of nationalism, but whenever we started rejecting, this is where the negative ethnocentrism it started emerging. Fine. So here try to understand. We are having three basic type of ethnocentrism. The first one is positive, second one is negative, the third one is extreme negative. Positive definition is specifying that you are having faith in your own way. Ethnocentrism is something which is required. Let us suppose, if you are not proud, if you are not feeling proud being a part of India, it means you are not having the nationalism. So having the positive nationalism means having a faith, having some sort of pride while you are flaunting your own cultural things. until and unless you are rejecting or intolerant with the other national person or with the other cultural things, it would be specified as what? The positive ethnocentrism. And we require the positive ethnocentrism means you should feel proud that you are part of India. You should feel proud that you are part of your culture and there are some good things in your culture. Like let us suppose in the Hindu culture, we used to specify every single time we are doing any worship that Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, which is specifying that even we used to specify that Vishwa ka Kalyan ho. So these things they are being specified as the positive things. Positive in the sense that these are specifying that we are in something that we are flaunting. And this is something like if you have that particular faith in your own culture, then you will specify the same thing. And because you will specify the same thing, you will be tolerant with the another culture. Means you, when you are saying Vishwa ka Kalyano, so you won't kill any another person. If you are saying Sarve Santu Niramaya, so you will be taking care of the other religion or other culture. I hope you can understand. This is the only one example. You can specify this because you can specify the positive thing of all the culture, but you should avoid writing something negative about any another culture. Fine. So that may be taken in a wrong sense. Fine. Okay. So ethnocentrism, it become negative when one's own group become the center of everything, and when all other they are scared when they are rated. Means negative ethnocentrism is something which is wrong, and it is only because of negative ethnocentrism you started feeling the sense of animosity, and you started saying that no, my culture is the best one and your cultural things they are not having any use, and you started like you started saying that my caste is the supreme one, your caste is lower caste. So these types of things have been specified in this manner. Next part is extreme negative ethnocentrism. So extreme negative ethnocentrism is when you started feeling extreme level of intolerance, and you started rejecting, as well as you started showing some aggression, and you started doing the strike. You started asking for those people to discontinue their culture things or to avoid those cultural activities. So this is being specified as extreme negative ethnocentrism. I hope you can understand what do we mean by these two words. Fine. Now we are basically done with the ethnocentrism as well. Coming up to the next part, that is the cultural relativism. So this is basically the part D, cultural relativism. As ethnocentrism is being considered as the negative word, cultural relativism is being specified as the positive word. Cultural relativism is being specified as what? The ability. Ability means where you are saying that yes, I have firm faith in my culture. Yes, I have a proud regarding my cultural activities, but I am also respecting the another culture. So here we are saying that I have faith in my own culture means I will continue my practices. I won't accept your practices, but I won't even reject your practices. So this is something called as cultural relativism, means you are feeling a sense of relativity. You are saying that like being a part of Hindu culture, it is imperative to celebrate my any type of festival. In the same way, this is imperative for the people belonging to the Islam to celebrate their festival. So they would be part of my festival, I would be part of their festival. And if I won't be being a part of their festival, but still I would allow them to just celebrate their festival as they want to, means providing the space. means being tolerant is called as cultural relativism. So this is in simple terms we used to specify as cultural relativism. So cultural relativism means what? You are understanding. So this is the first word, that is differentiating between ethnocentrism and cultural relativism. It means you are giving some sort of rationality. You are saying that I have some reason where I can have faith in my own culture. I have some sort of objectivity. I have some sort of rationality. And I'm not making any judgment for you. Like, what could be the basic example for that? Food choices. That is the basic example for that. Like, you must have encountered some person. Like, for example, there are some person who are intolerant. Means, if you are a vegetarian person, you won't even have the food from a non-vegetarian counter. But there are some other person called as the cultural relativism. Mostly boys, they are cultural relativistic. Here I am not just like saying that girls are not, but just to specify that why they are. Let us suppose like usually boys, while whenever they are eating outside, so they allow another person to sit on the same table, and if they are like other friend, they are non-vegetarian, then they are having their non-vegetarian food. Usually girls, they are not that much tolerant. I mean, for example, ask me that I won't even have the smell of non-vegetarian food. I can't even have. So this won't be considered, like this thing would be considered as ethnocentric. Now I'm not having negative ethnocentrism. Means what? It means that I won't ask you, don't eat non-vegetarian food in front of me, but I would rather like to leave that place so that you won't even have the inconvenience, or I won't feel the inconvenience. So this is how, like in this term, I'm basically giving you the example. Even so many of the boys, they would relate with me that yes, usually they used to have the same behavior, that they are being vegetarian, allowing their non-vegetarian friend to sit on the same table, having the same plate, but they are eating non-vegetarian food and you are eating the vegetarian, like they are eating non-vegetarian food and you are eating the vegetarian food. Okay, so this is how we specify the cultural relativism. Now let's try to understand the concept of the cultural relativism. So the cultural relativism, it is developed in the part of response to the Western ethnocentrism. So this word has been taken its origin in the German Enlightenment. So it is being considered as a method where different societies, different cultures, they are analyzed. And these are analyzed objectively. Means objectively, it is being specified as free from any sort of biasedness. Okay, so this is what do we mean by the cultural relativism. Now there are so many anthropologists who had specified about the cultural relativism, and from anthropological perspective we are going to be like specify this thing, that this concept is very favorite to the anthropologist. Why? Because this concept help us to know how in the future communities they will grow. If they are tolerant, only then they can grow. If they are tolerant, only then they can have some sort of acculturation, transculturation. Let us suppose if I am very much intolerant, I even share the space with you. But if I am tolerant, I will sit with you, I will hear, I will observe what are your cultural activities. And if I would like, I will continue them. I won't leave my cultural activities, but I will continue with yours. Like, for example, Indians. they, like Indian culture, like in the Indian culture, specifically the Hindu culture or the Islamic culture, they started celebrating the Christmas. So all the people, they started having the Christmas parties, they started having the Christmas gifts and these and that. So this is what, this is cultural relativism. So you are not giving up celebration of the Holi and Diwali, but being culturally relativistic, you started taking part in their festivals, you started taking part in the Halloween, in the Thanksgiving. So these are some of the examples that we consider. I hope you can understand. So therefore this concept is important, because of only this concept, now so many anthropologists, they are able to do the field work. Now let us suppose, let me give you the example. There is the North Sentinel Island, that is there in the Andaman and Nicobar. So there are very less people, like around 27 to 28 people who are basically survived now. So these people, Sentinel tribal people, they won't allow people of any another community to even come in their contact. It means if we will try, we won't be able to understand about their religion, their practices, because they won't allow us to observe. Let us suppose any another tribe. So in the another tribe, these anthropologists, they are visiting, like B. Malinovsky, they visited the Trobriand Island, and in the Trobriand Island, he studied about those people, their life, their culture, because those people culturally relativistic, they allow him to observe. So that's why this cultural relativism, this concept is very much dear to the anthropologists. In the UPSC cultural relativism, mostly they ask question from cultural relativism by giving different headlines, like cultural relativism is dear to the anthropologist, cultural relativism and ethnocentrism. So they had given these types of decent things related to this topic. So moreover, they are asking a 10 marker ka question from this topic. So this one is important. Okay. So if you have any doubt, you can ask for. Okay. Now, French Bauhaus had given the concept of the culture. So French Bauhaus, he had studied about the race, language and culture in the Baffin Island and the America, where he studied that different tribal people, they were having different culture. Some culture, they are unique, some are distinctive. Another is B. Malinovsky, studied in the Trobriand Island and specified his book Argonauts of the Pacific. So he highlighted how these people, they are having their life, how their culture is being specified, in what way their culture is being specified. So this is also being mentioned about. So they have specified that these people, they were at one point of time savage, they changes themselves in the barbarism, and they were having some sort of ethnocentrism as well, not to the large extent but to the some sort. Fine. Okay, so this is something that we have related to this part. Now the main question that we have to answer is, what is the basic significance of the cultural relativism and why it is being considered as dear to the anthropologists? I mean, why we consider that this is being part of their culture and why it is so dear to them? Why this is the case? Okay, fine. So first, if you are culturally relativistic and if you are having the sense of cultural relativism, you will promote tolerance, you will preserve the human culture, you will focus upon the cultural right, you will have you will help the society, where society can reform means, let us suppose you were culturally relativistic, because of this only you started changing into you started adopting the women education, you changed the sati pratha, you abolished the sati pratha, you started having the widow remarriage. So all these things we started continue. Why? Because first we noticed other culture doing the same, we found that this is something which is good, and we admitted that we should adopt this. So this is something that we specified. Another thing is we need to understand the human differences. We need to promote the world peace, and we need to have applied anthropology. So anthropologists, they were having cultural relativistic view. They can understand the issues such as the tribal unrest, the left-wing extremism. So therefore, we feel a sense of relativity. Like if any person is hungry in front of you, you will feel a sense of relativity. You will feel their plight, and you will try to calm and compose them. You will try to provide them food. So this is something that we have related to this concept of cultural relativism. Now, there is another important part which we have to specify, where we need to pay attention towards the cultural relativism and the human right. I mean, somewhere cultural relativism is specifying the human right. Like cultural relative, like if you are relativistic to another person, you will preserve the human right. Like how? Because you are relativistic, you can feel the plight, you can have the sense of relativity. Because you can have the sense of relativity, only because of this point, you won't infringe their human right. Like in the ethnocentrism, you were killing another person. You will, you are just taking the right of another person, right to food, right to life, just to fulfill your own will. So therefore, ethnocentrism is being considered as a challenge against the human right. But the cultural relativism, it is being considered as something which is promoting the human right. So let's specify cultural relativism and human right. So cultural relativism is what? It is providing some sort of preservation. So preserving human right. Other than this, it is basically leading to the promotion of the cultural practices among the society. So just to preserve the cultural, like human right, it is leading towards the promotion of cultural activities among communities. Other than this, it is providing us some sort of validity. Like in the cultural relativism, you are feeling the relativity, therefore, you are providing some sort of equal validity to the other culture, so that we can have the same references, we can have the same application. So, providing equal validity. Okay, so these are some of the things that we used to specify. Is this, take it as an example for promoting the article 14 and 15? Yes, we can. Right to equality, and then right from the discrimination for the employment, right from the discrimination in the social behavior, as well as it can also help us to just fulfill the article 16 and 17, that abolition of untouchability. So it is also promoting the article 14, 15, 16 and 17. Okay, fine. So, but those were the fundamental rights. Here we are talking about the human right. You would say, ma'am, fundamental rights, they are also the human right. Yes, they are. But here, by the meaning human right, we are talking about something that is in practice. So yes, in terms of application, we can quote here. So like, can give reference. Reference to article 14, 15, 16 and 17. Okay, so this could be given in terms of the example. Fine. Okay, now we just need to criticize the cultural relativism or the cultural relativism and the human right. Is it the case like every single time we can have the possibility like you will preserve the human right, or if you are cultural relativistic only then you can preserve the human right? So there are different anthropologists who had given their statement, like Elizabeth uh, Zizenster. She has criticized the cultural relativists, saying that they justify the traditional practices that often violate the human rights, and just on the name of the cultural uniqueness. I mean, they were saying that first you are having pride in your own culture, and because you are having pride in your own culture, it means you will continue your cultural practices even if they are infringing the human right. Like for example, the people who were advocating the sati pratha, they were not saying that all those female who are not getting the sati, they are not the pativrata, but they just flaunting the girls who are getting the sati after the after their husband death. So in one of the community, the people where one of the wife, she got sati after her husband death, they created one statue of that particular girl just to flaunt the thing. So Elizabeth, she was saying the same thing. She was specifying that being culturally relativistic means you are having firm faith in your own culture, and you will continue your own cultural practices by saying, by flaunting, by priding over your culture. So quite possible your cultural activities, they are being exploitative, but because you have firm faith, you are practicing it. Fine. Another example is given by the Harry Zensler. So Harry Zensler, he specified that cultural relativism, it does not differ between social approval and moral approval. And for that, some of the socially and culturally accepted, they may not be morally accepted. Like another same example, that is the sati. Even Herskovit, he said, cultural relativism is not completely neutral. It doesn't mean that you are neutral. It is specifying that yes, you are having firm faith in your own, but you will have respect for the other. But if you are having firm faith in your own, quite possible you will have faith in your negative activities as well. So this is something that we used to specify. Fine. So with this note, we are basically done with the complete unit 2.1. Now, in the next class, we will have a PYQ discussion. Related to the unit 2.1. So in the next class, when we will have the PYQ discussion, so I will notify you from the Sunya IAS Anthropology Optional channel that is on the Telegram. Another thing is that you will also get this PDF in that channel itself. if you want to get any sort of if you want to inquiry for anything, you can just fill the form that is being given there in the description box, or if you want to connect directly, number is available there, you can also connect through those number. Fine. So if you will take up the course, now, like as I told you, we are taking in the offline as well as in the online mode. So it is going to be the live one. So you will have the current updates. Another thing is that you know, like there is no need to run away here and there for search of the in searching of the notes. You will have the paper one as well as the paper two book that is being well researched, and the sample for that particular book you can get from the same telegram channel. So kindly visit that channel and then have the proper details about it. Okay, so thank you so much for today. Next class we will be having related to the pyq discussion. Okay, so stay tuned for that. We are going to practice the complete pyq. One more thing, like we will have another way to just approach for the pyqs. Okay, fine. So thank you so much.